Yep. Yep.
Yes.
So what you can see now is going to be the makeup assignment. You have to display images. So instead of drawing shapes, you have to display different images based on what users input. Um, for example, if user selected some fruit, and you will give users certain list of several fruit, and then depending on which they selected as their favorite fruit, that's the image you should display, and same for sport, and same for a meal. So these elements, the input should be different. Um, I'll, I'll make a list here.
You are starting with the paint, yeah?
Yeah, this is just a paint tool. I don't have an application ready to show how it's going to work. So, but that's why I'm explaining to you in words how you should implement this. So for each element, for example, the apple, sport, or meal, each of them should come from a different control. So for each element, information should come from a different control. So what do I mean by that? There should be one control as a text field. So that would be your name, right? The name that user provided. One control should be a list view. Maybe that would be for the apple, for the fruit. One control should be for the drop box. So basically the idea is here to practice with different controls. So we have list view, draw box, and let's make it, what do you call it? Radio button. These are like the most difficult controls.
Really?
So like list view, draw box, and radio button are the most difficult. Text field is the easiest. And we're not going to do a checkbox. Like for the other assignment, we also had checkbox. It's slightly easier than these ones, so we're not going to practice with that one, but we will practice with these ones. So basically, the input should come from these 4 controls in one window, and then in another window, you should display the images corresponding to those controls. So now that you know what the assignment is going to be about, let's start practicing with some of the things. In my email, I sent the plan for today's session. So based on your feedback, some people said they don't know how to create a XML file. Also, some people said they don't know how to use SceneBuilder. Then nobody said that, but I feel like I do need to explain how these items from the fxml file, they connect to your code and how do you manipulate them. Okay, so, and we just talked about the requirements for the assignment. So how to set up the environment, you all have environment set up, that's good, and we did cover it extensively in class. I wanted to make sure that this doesn't hold you back from starting the assignment. So I'm glad to hear that you all have it set up. Let me open Workspace. I will create a new workspace with my The Eclipse is loading now. So we want to create a JavaFX project. New other. Let's see, JavaFX project. Next. So we'll give it some name. First, so we kind of will do some things in one project and some other things in separate projects. So the first one, JavaFX, how to work with images. Let's start with that one first. So this would be kind of your second window. So I'm not putting it in the second window, I'm putting it in the first window. But the idea here is to understand how to create images in FXML file and how to create, how to populate the image into that FXML element, right? Because user will have, for example, 3 options to select from for apples or for fruit. For example, apple, mango, or banana. And then you have to select in your code, you have to select the correct image to display. So this FXML project gives us only the main method and the application CSS. So the main method will change, sorry, the main class, this is our driver class. We'll have to refactor it a little bit, but it has to extend this application class for FXML projects. So what we don't have here is the FXML file. So let's add it, application new, other. And when I go to other, under this JavaFX, I have something called new FXML document. I click next. I have to give it a name. In this case, it's in my main window, not the second window. My main window, and it's going to be about images. So that's the name that I'm going to give it. It's main window, and we are practicing with images, so that's the name that I will give, and finish. So if you give names that kind of correspond together, it will be easy for you to find which FXML file relates to which code, right? So from this, I know this is main window, this is main FXML file for that window. So automatically it creates me this anchor pane. It gives me a comment here. So I want to update this file with the image. I want to display images here. So I'll open it in SceneBuilder. While the SceneBuilder is opening, I'll go back to our plan. So how to create the XML file? That's easy, right? I just showed it to you. You just select it, and Eclipse will create that file for you. You don't need to do it from scratch. So now let's go back to the, where's my, so this guy, and my XML file is now opened in SceneBuilder. So the next thing we're looking at how to use the SceneBuilder with that FXML file. So you can see the name of FXML file is main images that opened up. It's the same one that I have in my workspace in Eclipse. So for images, I think the easiest thing to use is grid pane. So that's what I'm going to use. I'll take the grid pane. put it here. I don't really need the anchor pane, so I'll remove that one. To remove, I'll just say unwrap, and now I have only grid pane. If I save this file, and I look back in my Eclipse, when I go to my Eclipse, you can see some things changed automatically. The import statements have changed, and it added the grid pane for me with the number of columns and rows as in the scene builder, right? So let's continue working. Next thing, I can see already that this is not good enough for me. This 2 columns and 3 rows. Let's look back at my the paint where I have this thing. So I can imagine that there's going to be another picture here of a dish that I like. So I don't really have to have that picture to know that it will occupy this room. And all of these are just instructions, so I will pull them to the side. But this is basically my window, right? In order for me to work with the window, with the layout, sorry, I wanted to do this. So this is my window, right? These are just instructions. So in order for me to work with the window, I need to first design the window. Otherwise, I don't know what I need. If I start just dragging and dropping things here randomly without a plan, I will create a mess. So I need to think what items I need. So let me add, so I need 1 row probably, or another line. So this will be 1 row for me. This will be another row for me. I'll put text in another row. This will be the row for image for the favorite fruit. If I want to put some rows in between, some space, I can do that. But that's just for visually how pleasant it is to see. I can add it later if I want. But so far, I just want to know how many rows do I need overall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I was working with this, I would have 7 rows. Right? So if I have only 3, so I need to add 4 more. To add rows, for the grid pane, I'll add row below, another row, another row, another row. I think we said 7. So there's 2 times 7, 2 columns. Now let's take a look at the columns. So I'm just explaining my thinking, how I would do it. Different people do it different ways. This works best for me. So for me, I think I will have this column and this column, and maybe have some space here, just like instead of padding, I'll just leave it as a column. So I need 3 columns. I have only 2 columns. I'll add another column here, column before or after. At this point, it doesn't matter. But if you already put images and stuff, then it would matter where you add the column. Then you have to be more careful if you don't think in advance. So this is my layout. But right now, all the rows are kind of tiny, right? I cannot put image right here if I wanted to. So, but before I start adding the image, I'll add the label for my name. Actually, not for my name. I think that you can actually do it yourself. Once I show you one label, you will be able to add any labels you want. So I'll work on this particular item right now. Let me highlight it in maybe yellow. I'll work on adding, let me circle it. I'll work on adding this particular item. Okay, so favorite fruit and the image. So I'm not going to add name, it's just a label, but then you will have to have another label to display the actual name, So, and these will be kind of same as this one. Let's see, what do I need to do? My uh, favorite fruit is in 1, 2, in row 2, 1, 2. So this row right here. Let me grab a label.
Lily, it's freezing.
Yes.
It's freezing.
Is it freezing a lot?
Yeah, quite a lot. Quite a lot. I don't know.
Is the image freezing or my voice is freezing?
No, voice is okay, but image freezing.
Okay, so if I go a little bit more slowly, maybe that will be better.
Yeah, probably. Try to change the screen. I don't know. Probably just to switch between the windows, just for me to understand if it's freezing now or not. I'm not sure.
Okay, so switching from SceneBuilder to Eclipse.
No, now I see you. Now it's okay. Now I see it's moving. Yes, yes. So.
Okay. Okay, let me know if it freezes again, and then we can pause for a little bit.
Sure.
All right, so I'm adding a label now, and that's where we start. So the label would be in this section here. Just need to find it. Controls, label right here. So label, you already know, it's just to display the text. I'll put it here. But now I realize, looking from this, I see that it's actually touching the end of my window. That wouldn't look very nice. So there are several ways how to solve this. For me, the easiest way is to add another column. Add column before. So I have the column. So this will create the padding. But it looks like this padding is too big. So I need to reduce the size of this column. Right now, this column is selected. It's highlighted in yellow. So I'll go to layout and preferred width, and I'll change the size to 10 maybe. It made the column much smaller, and now it looks better. So I'll go back to my label. I don't want the text to appear as label. It doesn't mean anything. I want to change the text. To change the text, I'll go to properties. And in properties area, it has a text label. So I have to change this. This is going to be, I'm not going to show fruit. I'm going to show vegetables. So it's different from your assignment, but you can reuse the similar approach for your assignment. So my favorite vegetable is, so that's what I want my label to look like. Right now I see the 3 dots, so that doesn't make sense to me. The user cannot read it. I need to do something about it. Let's see what can be done. I know from other like logically, and from my experience with other tools like JavaScript and stuff, HTML, I know that most likely I can span the same text over several columns or over several lines. So that's what I'm going to look for. How can I span this? Spanning, it's probably in the code area or layout. Let's take a look at the code area. And this has all kinds of events, so that doesn't make sense. I guess layout is better. And right away I find row span and column span. What I want to span it over the columns. How many columns? 2 maybe 3. I'm not sure. Let's make it 3 because I'm not going to be updating anything here anyways. So, but the text finishes in column 2. So that's okay. That doesn't affect the view very much. So I'm just going to keep it as 3 columns in case later I will increase the text. So now the label is there, and it's I can see it well. And the next thing to do is to add the image. Since I'm not going to be updating this label, I'm not going to add anything for the FX ID. If I was to update this label, then I would have to add specific ID for this label, so I can modify this label through the code later. But I'm not going to do anything, so I'm not going to touch this part. Now, I have my label. I don't have the image yet. According to my design, the image will go in the center column, right below the label, in the row below the label row. So it's going to be over here. Right now, this size is not so good. It's too small, so I need to increase this size. First, I will select the row. I will select the column, because I actually want to specifically change this particular size, but let's see. I'll select this column first, and again, this is the layout. The sizing and stuff is in the layout area. I want to make the size bigger. Let's make it 300. Maybe it's going to be too big, but let's see. That's okay. I guess 300 is okay. Now I want to change this particular row. I want to change the height. I want to make it bigger. My image will probably be bigger, otherwise it will not look very nice. So if I select the row and I go back to layout, here I have preferred height, and I can change it here. Let me make it I don't know, 80. Just guessing. Preferred height, maximum height. I need to modify maximum height probably as well, because it's preventing. Okay, so this is bigger now, but it's not big enough. Let me make it 100. So it's still not big enough, I feel. Although later I will have to decide on the size of the images. If it's going to occupy too much of my screen, maybe I will have to rethink this. Actually, I already know my image. I want just a small image like this. Otherwise, I cannot fit all the images in. Okay, so this is better. Let's keep it like this for now. And let's continue. Let's see how we can add the image. As soon as I look at the control, I see my image view right there. So this will help us to add the image to our view. I'll grab it, I drag it, and I drop it in that column where I want it. So here it is. It kind of goes, I can see the lines, the squares that is going beyond my column. So I have to resize it. So now it's better size. It fits right into the column. So I'll leave it as is here. But for the image, this element, this node, I will have to look at it inside the code to add the actual image to it. So for that reason, I have to go into the code and I need to add that FX ID. So this will be my vegetable image. So I'll start with some kind of, what do you call it? Something, IMG to stand for image. So then I know as soon as I see this name in my element, I will know this related to the images. So image, but what the image is going to be, this is for vegetables. So I'm going to show only one vegetable, so I will make it singular, vegetable. Click here again, save, and let me switch to Eclipse to see what happens here. Nothing yet, it takes a little bit of time, and now it updated things. I can see this is my image view that I added. I can see the image vegetable, the FX ID. I can see that the sizes of the columns have changed and rows. So this tells you that you can also modify these elements in FXML file. You don't have to use SceneBuilder for this. It depends on your preference. So let's continue. What else do we need to do here? Let's run the code and see what happens. But before I run it, because FXML file is actually XML file, it doesn't compile. So sometimes the changes your Java classes might not see the changes that happen here. So for that reason, I'm going to do a build first, clean build. Then I will run the driver class. And right now it's giving me empty things. After inspecting the code, I can see there's something wrong here. Like I'm not reading my FXML file at all in my code. So of course it's not picking up my FXML file. So I need to modify this. I have the example that we had from class to reduce time from typing this. So I'll just copy that, paste it here. So this is the FXML file that we used in class. Let me import the relevant code, FXML. So, but my FXML file has a different name. In order for me to get the name, I'll go refactor. I don't want to type it because sometimes typing causes problems. I'll just copy it from the file itself. So after modifying the code to read my FXML file from my driver, let's run the program again. And this time I can see my label, but nothing for the image because we haven't added any images yet. So to add the images, first we need to have the images in our workspace. So let me create folder images. So folder, I will select this new folder, and notice that I am doing it at the source level, okay? Because when you work with dependent files, you have to specify the location. The location is very important. Depending where you put it, every time it's different. Some of you contacted me a few times when the SQL script was not in the right location, it couldn't read it or something, like things go wrong basically. So you have to be very careful where you put it. You have to remember and you need to know how to get to that place. So in the source folder, I'll create another folder and I call it images. So that's where I will store all the images. So when I do that, it creates me this something looks like a package and the name is images. So I already have a couple of images. Let me grab them. So I have a couple of images here. Sliced cucumber and tomato. I look at them, open in System Explorer, and this one. Open with Microsoft Office 2010. So this is the cucumber image, and the tomato. So these are the two images I have so far. To make it look nicer, I might want to play with the sizes and stuff, but for now it's okay just the way it is. So next thing I need to do, I have my fxml file, I have my driver, but I don't have any controller. Controller is the one that will do that logic, like that will tie the view and whatever needs to be done with it. So let me add the controller now. In application level, I'll select new class, and this will be the controller for the images. So also relates to the main. So I'll put main images, and I'll put controller so I know that this is controller. That it's not some other class, because you might have some other classes to do some logic, but this specific class is the controller. So this is the controller. For JavaFX controllers, I need the controller to implement initializable interface. So to do that, I'm getting an error. I need to import it, and it's from JavaFX package. When I import that, I'm getting a different error because I need to implement some methods. That, if you remember from the interfaces, as soon as you declare that you're implementing interface, it's like a contract. Now you have to implement the methods that that interface defines. So I'm adding an implemented method, and it's just one method initialize. Let me remove this comment from here. So next thing I want to do is I need to add that FXML element, the image vegetable. So it's a type of image view, and the ID is image vegetable. I'll just copy these lines from here. Go to my controller, add them here. I'll remove things that I don't need. These are the elements that I don't need. Then I need to import the JavaFX scene image view. And I need to annotate this as well at fxml. I need to import the annotation as well. So now I have a hook into my image in the XML file. Now it's hooked. Now I can do whatever I want with it. So in my code, I have two images, tomato and cucumber. So I'll declare these strings, the path to this images on top, so then I can just go to them whenever I want. So these are the two images, and this is the path to the image. So now I have the two paths. Depending on which one user selects, I can show this image or this image. So, but that's not all. I still need to create the image view itself. Um, so this will happen in the initialized state. First, I will pretend that I passed an argument of what user selected. Other vegetable. So, which vegetable do you guys want me to display? What's your favorite vegetable?
For me, tomatoes.
Tomato. Okay, tomato. So user selected. We're just pretending because this should be coming from the other window. Since we don't have the other window, I'll just put this variable here for now. So user selected tomato, but now I need to do, I need to create the image element as well. Image, call it image. This is going to be, we're going to use polymorphism here. Or it's not really polymorphism actually. We're going to use the same image variable for any image. This or this doesn't matter because we only need one of them. We don't need two of them, right? But which one we need depends on what user selected. So that means we need an if statement or switch or something, depending how you want to implement it. So if I have only two choices for the user, tomato or cucumber, in that case, I can do just if else. I don't need to do any other logic. It's just if user selects this, display that, or display the other. So let's see if this variable that I will get from the user equals, ignore case just in case, and I'll reuse tomato here. So then display image for tomato. Image equals new image. And I need to provide, if I look at this image, it says input stream, object string. So basically I need to provide a parameter. And in this case, I'll provide the parameter, the path to the image, where my code can find that image. But in the other case, I'll add the cucumber. So we have the image. We are creating new image. Now the only thing is left, we need to, this is only done in our code. We haven't done anything for our JavaFX file. So we actually need to update this element in our JavaFX file. So for this, I will have to use this hook that I have to the fxml file with that annotation fxml. And I'll add it after this if else, but still inside this method. I don't want to get outside of this method. So, and I need to set image here. And it's accepting the image type. I'll just add the image here. So now I'll remove extra spaces. Let's run our application again. I am expecting an error, but let's do it anyways. So right now, even though we're hooking the element, the image, it's not showing. Why do you think it's not showing to us? So where are we hooking it in to our fxml? We're hooking it here, right? In the controller. But did we hook the controller itself to all of our?
we need to specify the controller in FXML. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So that piece is missing, and that's why it's not showing up. So basically, you can see how all these files, they interact with each other, and any mistake that you make, that you forget to hook them up together, it can cause logical errors. Let's add the controller. Let me go to, let me open the SceneBuilder, my XML file. I'll add it at the grid pane level. So for you guys, when you worked at school, I remember I couldn't find the controller, and it was on the bottom here. On my machine, I don't know, maybe it's a different version of SceneBuilder or what, the controller is defined actually in the code. So for you, it might be on the left side on the bottom after this hierarchy. But for me, it's in the code area. So let me see. And also, oh, it actually gave me the controller. Okay, good. So I just selected. It already recognized that there's a controller. All I need to select. And don't forget to save. Save every file every time you work with it. Save it right away. Let's take a look if it got modified. Yeah, I can see the controller is now hooked up to my XML file. So now things are connected. Now I expect everything to work. And I expect to see the tomato image. And there it is, tomato. So with this example, we learned how to work with the images, how to define how important it is to define the location of the images, the path to the images, and then using the image element and also hooking it up to the element in FXML. So, which is done by this FXML ID that we define in our FXML file. But we need to remember to bring it here as well. Without this, we cannot do it. All right, so do you have questions about this part?
Maybe can you repeat the part of the control in the SceneBuilder?
SceneBuilder?
Yes.
So what I did, let me close the controller again. Let me open the FXML file with SceneBuilder.
Okay.
So originally, I did not have controller in my FXML file. So this line of code was missing, right? So, well, let me remove it actually, so you know exactly where. So I did not have this. Let me rebuild to know exactly what's what here. Because if you work with two IDEs, one SceneBuilder and Eclipse, it can cause some problems depending when you save the file. And so I wanted to refresh everything, rebuild, and see what's happening. So right now I don't have the controller. And if I run the file again, my program again, I don't have the image. This is a logical error, and it's happening because my controller is not hooked up to this guy, to the FXML file. So if I want to hook them up together, so then my controller can read this image vegetable element, which is in my XML file. So I want them two to be connected.
Okay.
If I open the SceneBuilder and I select the grid pane, my main element, for me, the controller where I need to define is on the right side, right over here. But for you at school, I don't know on your local computers how it's going to be, but at school, the controller was here on the left side on the bottom. Right?
Okay.
So now the controller class, I need to select. As soon as I select drop down, it gives me, it already sees, it can see that there's a controller class. If I had more than one controller, it would have a list of them. So I need this one, I select it. sometimes maybe it doesn't recognize and you have to type it yourself. But once you select or type it, don't forget to save your scene builder. See, it says save. Now, when I go back here, you can see the file got updated, and now I have the hook to my controller. So now when I run the code again, after adding the controller, it can see the image because this code is now getting executed. Before it did not execute. Now it does. So we looked at how to add in images, how to write the logic depending on which image is selected. You need to create different images, and then how to update the image in the FXML, the image view in FXML. Let me go back to the email. So we did how to create an FXML. We did look at how to use SceneBuilder, not all of the elements, but how to hook things around, how to hook all of the elements together. That's, I guess, was the big one related to SceneBuilder. How to map nodes in the controller and FXML file. We looked at that and the requirements for the assignment. So one more thing before we go that I want to show you is you will be using radio buttons. So let's find the radio buttons here. So radio button, let me drag and drop it here. So again, you would have to figure out the layout for the radio buttons. You can create additional boxes that you put inside. But the thing that I wanted to show you is you will need to do you'll need to put the radio buttons in the box. Did somebody just say it?
In the box?
Like a toggle group to a group, so they're exclusive. User cannot select more than one radio button.
Yeah, I got some troubles with that.
So maybe it's in the layout. So we're looking for something called toggle group.
I think it's in the radio button on the left in hierarchy. Right click. I think so. Wrap in.
Okay.
But
oh, there is a group element.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think now it's gonna work.
Okay, let me see. So I haven't tried it this way. Did you try it for the first assignment like this?
Yeah, but once it worked, another one after it stopped working because I rebuilt the SceneBuilder, so probably I forgot to put it in the box in the group. I put it in the box, but I didn't put it in the group. That's, I think it's caused the problem.
Okay.
But since you have just one radio button, that's why I think it's not grouped.
So I think it also might depend on the SceneBuilder that you have installed, because for some SceneBuilders you can define the group here on action, on drag selected. So I don't see it here. The layout makes more sense, but I don't see it here either. And lastly, let's take a look at properties. Oh, here is the toggle group. So this is specific for radio buttons. Right now there is no toggle group at all. You need to create one. Let's give it a name. For radio buttons, let's say let's do the vegetables since we're doing veggie group. So now you defined a toggle button for the group for this button. If you add more buttons to the same group, that doesn't look very nice. Let's move it here. Okay, that's okay. Maybe I need to span it over. I need to span this group over several columns. Where is it span? Let's make it 2. Span 2. Yeah, I will remove the. I'll remove the group, okay? But because I want to show you on how to make it that it's they're mutually exclusive. So this one already has a toggle group, but this one doesn't have a toggle group yet. So if you want them to be exclusive for this particular group, the group name has to be the same. So now user can select only one or the other. He cannot select both of them. So let me save this. You can save it. See, the toggle group is created with the radio buttons. And let's run it. So I have the radio buttons, and you can see I can select only one at a time. So try playing with it to see how you can select them without toggle group or with toggle group to figure out what is the best. But toggle group will allow you to select only one of them, which that's what you want for this application. What else did I want to show you? So for the list view, you can create list view in the FXML or the drop down or the list. So this is the list. Let's see. You would have to give it ID so you can hook it to the controller. I'll just give this ID list V. And in order for me to add elements to it, there are 2 ways of doing it. So I need to create, in the controller, I need to create the FXML ID basically. Let me go there and create it. But I need to create. So sometimes copy paste is bad, but when you want specific names and you don't want to make spelling mistake, in that case, I believe copy paste is very good. So whenever you import, make sure they're all from JavaFX so you don't have conflicts in your code. So now that I have a hook, now I can populate this list here. So the element itself is in the JavaFX, but populating list with items, I would do it here as well when I do the initialize. I gave you a link before. Let me find it. Where's something? Go to eCentennial. Go to our class, content. We open this one. So populate combo box, for example, and do we have a, so let's take a look at this one. How you would populate it. And the same idea can be used for list view. So here the user is adding the combo box. Let's not look at the question. Let's look at the answer. So here, like I said, in the initialize method, that's when you set the items for user to select from during the initialization. Okay. Is this clear?
So in this case, it's the hard-coded option B, yeah?
It's hard. Yes, it is hard-coded.
Option B is hard-coded. No choice.
Where is option B? Yes, these things are hard-coded, and then user would select
just option.
Like this pre-selects the option B for the user, but you don't have to do this particular piece. You just need to show them the list, and then user can select.
Yeah, so we need, it's this underlined row is initialization of a drop-down box. Yeah?
Yes, with the values. Right? So for example, you would have, instead of option A, you will have cucumber, tomato, and so on, that user can select.
Okay.
So this is for the combo box. There is similar thing for the list. I think it's also on eCentennial. Let me go back. Bless you.
Thanks.
This one doesn't have JavaFX anymore, so it must be here. Let me see this slide. To learn more about Java. Well, basically the idea is the same. You put the element inside JavaFX, but you populate the element by code in the initialize method. I'm sure there will be lots of things here. There are other ways of populating list view. You can also populate it in the JavaFX file itself. So if we take a look at this guy. So they're using here observable list. That this will be done in your code. So this will be a hook in the controller. You don't have to create this whole list view string. So start, extend application, observable list. So here they're doing some work at the start, but this is even instead of fxml file, they're not using fxml file here. That's why they're doing it at the start level. For us, start is, let's go to the driver class. The start is when we initializing the fxml file. For these guys that they're showing here, they don't use the XML file, they just build it. So this part will be in the JavaFX view, but adding elements, you can do it initialize. Do you guys have any other questions?
This makeup test, when it's gonna happen?
So
It's also it's a classwork or homework.
it is homework because we will not have time in class to go over this again. Right. So if you will have some problems with it, send me an email. But we cannot devote time in class for this because we still need to do multi-threading, collections. Those are advanced topics. So I'll give you 1 week to finish this. And what do you guys feel about it?
For me, it's okay.
1 week after the current homework, yeah? So we still have one homework to be done by April 5.
Yes. Yes, you're working on the database. But you already have the assignment. Let me think about it.
We have a bunch of them. A really bunch of them.
Well, one of the reasons why I'm asking is because you have a bunch of the assignments, and if I give you lots of time to do this, you will try to work to perfection to make it perfect. And you can spend a lot of time doing it and not focus on other assignments, right? So sometimes it's not necessary to make it perfect. Make it functionally working. If the image doesn't look perfect, don't work on it like for days to figure out how to make image look nice. As long as you display apple, when user selects apple, that's fine. Doesn't have to be. If the image is stretched or something else is wrong, don't worry about those things. But I know sometimes students, they're perfectionists, they want to make it perfect, and they can spend hours and hours trying to do this. And if I give them extra time, they would use that time to make that image perfect.
Yeah, no way.
No way. Okay.
If it runs, it's finished.
All right. Okay. So when is the current lab due? Lab 5.
Fix on 5, yes. 5 April.
On the 5th?
Wednesday.
On Wednesday? Okay. So.
Sorry. Yeah, 5.
Yes, 5 April, yes.
Yes, Wednesday, yes.
Okay, so this makeup assignment will be due next Wednesday.
What?
No, not this coming up Wednesday. The Wednesday after.
Oh, okay. So in 10 days, right?
Yeah, from now I guess it's 10 days.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's basically it's clear.
Okay. All right, and email me if you have questions, if you get stuck. How is Lab 5 going, by the way?
It's going
Bad.
bad.
Bad?
It's not going.
It's not going?
No, I have problems setting up my database on my laptop.
Yeah, setting up, I try to spend enough time in class to set up the environment because usually setup takes longer than anything else and it can cause some issues. Try to follow the same steps you did in class because in class your computer was working, right?
Yeah, but
Databases.
I don't know what's wrong. Yeah, I'll try to do it again, and if any, I'll tell you on Monday.
Well, don't wait on Monday till Monday, okay? If you have time today, try again. Like at least figure out what the problem is, not how to fix it.
Oh yes, of course.
So and then maybe email me, take screenshots what the errors you're getting. Email me, and then maybe we can set up a session together that I can help you with setting up your environment. Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right. So other than the environment issues, how do you guys feel about creating those GUI, populating the database, reading from the database, inserting?
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, for me it's okay too.
So what I recommend to make things easier, what I would do, I would have one window with maybe 3 buttons depending on what user wants to do, right? Like this way you can separate the logic, otherwise the logic in one class can become very confusing. So this one may be view all, then you can view all records. Then you can do, what do we have next? Select by ID. And you can actually even provide the ID here, right? And then you can have, what were the other queries you need to do? Update, right?
Yeah.
So update. And is there any more? Is there insert as well?
I think I'm insert, yeah.
Like it's up to you how really you approach this and how you organize your code and classes and views. You can have everything done in one view, but then it's becoming a little bit confusing. It's easier to separate views. It's more work in terms of you will have more classes and stuff, but it's easier to understand. So when user clicks on view all, you call the database, and then you display a different window with all the records. So and you make a DB call here. You call the database, it returns something, but you display the view in a different window. Then when you do select by ID, you can display a different window again. Again, in between, you call the database, right? When you do update, so this one is a little bit tricky because first you need a record what you are updating. So you can actually, because you're doing select by ID here, you can have an update button not here, but here instead. Right? So once you display the records here, then if they're editable, if the view is editable, then you can click update, you can change the values, click update, and then you make another call to DB, right? But this call, you send it to the database class to do the query, but then it will return back to this view to populate the view. And for insert, to make it easier again and more clean to read, I would also create a separate view. Actually, the DB call is not here. You're only opening the view with fields that you want user to add, to insert new entry, right? But then you will have a new button here. Insert. And then what would happen when you do that, you would have a call to the database again and come back and either just display a message, the element was inserted, so you don't have to come back to this view, right? You can only display the element was created, and then when I do view all, I can see that it was added. That's how I would test it, for example. So 9. This is how I recommend you do, to have it all clean. Every class is separate, every logic is separate. You will have to create several connections to the database, but you can also create a separate class that will create a connection and return a connection to you. Like you can have a class that's responsible for connection only. So all it's doing is creating the connection. And you would have to call it here, for example, DB, connection, display all. When user closes this window, you close the connection. Don't forget to close the connection every time. Create a new connection when you make a query and close it after it's done. Every time. Okay? All right, and do email me if you have problems, okay?
Okay, and I will.
Okay.
And I will inform you if the video is recorded actually, because I'm not sure so far.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah, the counter is running, but but without it still hidden.
Sure, do let me know if the video is recorded.
Yeah.
And if it is recorded, do let me know if you can upload it or not.
Yes, I can upload it. It's the one thing demanded is the video to be recorded. If it is, just I'll upload it without any problem.
Well, sometimes there are restrictions on how big the files should be and stuff like that. So
I'll try to play with that. Just maybe resize it or something like that. So probably
Okay.
just
so
to make
yeah.
to make lower.
Okay.
How to say?
I guess in worst case scenario, we can just send the video file to everyone,
Yeah.
and they can watch it on their computer.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. If you don't have any more questions, I guess we can go about our businesses.
Okay.
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 See you on Monday.
Andrew, see you on Monday, but do email me regarding the video.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
weekend.
Bye bye.
Bye.